So a major interest that we have in our lab is understanding immunological memory to the infections that we have gotten as children or even as adults, and the vaccines that we get as children. Immunological memory is the ability of the immune system to respond much faster upon re-exposure to the same pathogen, and that's the basis of vaccination. So if you get, as a child, you get a polio vaccine or a measles or mumps vaccination, then you're protected from that disease for many, many years, sometimes for life. And the reason for that is because you've got memory, you've got T cells and B cells that recognize that pathogen and will protect you immediately upon re-exposure to that pathogen. So our lab has been interested in understanding how long-term immune memory or immunologic memory is maintained after either infection or vaccination. So what we'll cover in my presentation today are 4 things. First, I'll talk to you about immunological memory. Then I'll talk to you about, in particular, the properties of memory T cells, what makes memory T cells do what they do, which is protect us from infections and rapidly respond. So something about the properties of memory T cells. And then I will switch to what for us was a very exciting line of research, which is what happens if there's a chronic infection. So start with immunological memory, then talk about functional memory T cells you get after an acute infection or vaccination, and then tell you about what happens if there is a chronic persistent antigenic stimulus as you have during chronic infections or in the conditions of a cancer with the constant stimulation by tumor antigen. And then I'll tell you about an inhibitory receptor that actually results in dysfunction of these T cells during a chronic infection or in a tumor setting. So it's like a brake that comes on and keeps them from being functional. And then I'll talk to you about how you can restore function in these cells by releasing that brake. And then I'll end by the clinical implications in treatment of cancer of using the PD-1 directed immunotherapy.